Hello my friends, I'm Buck Weezer. You've tuned to Buck Small Engine DIY on YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Would you like to join me today on a lawnmower repair project? I got a lawnmower, we got to get it up and running. If that interests you, then stay tuned. And there she is. It's the Husqvarna all-wheel drive 22-inch lawnmower featuring a Honda GCV190 engine. And I've never worked on one of these, although I've worked on plenty of Honda engines. This is all-wheel drive, so you have four-wheel drive capability. And this lawnmower really is a beast. This is about 10 or 12 years old, and it's a good thing it's four-wheel drive because I sure wouldn't want to have to push this guy around without the aid of the self-propel system. So I don't know exactly what we're going to find with this. I would judge by the accumulated dirt that it has not been cleaned or serviced in a while. I'm told it's hard to start and needs maintenance. The buildup of leaves and dirt on the machine suggests to me maybe it spent its life outside and maybe kept outside under the porch maybe, or I don't really know, but it's pretty dirty. And that's our project for today. Another initial observation is a buildup of dirt and grease over here by the governor outputs. Sometimes that shaft seal leaks. That might be something we have to look into. Or not, we'll see. But I think the first thing that I do before going any further is definitely going to be cleaning it, because I don't like working on something this dirty. And that's going to be my first step, which I can do off camera, and I'll bring you back and it'll be done in a snap. And presto, as if by magic, there it is, all clean and shiny. It cleaned up really nice, didn't it? Sometimes I think that keeping our equipment clean probably will go a long way to keeping it running well, don't you think? Well, let's take it outside and see if we can start it up. All right, beautiful sunshine today. So it does have gas, it does have oil. It's got an automatic choke, so there's no primer bulb. Fuel valve is open, so let's see what we can get. Well, 10 pulls and it doesn't start. So I guess we need to begin our diagnosis. I think if any machine's in good condition, it should start within 2 or 3 pulls. This is not starting. We got to figure out why. Let's check for spark with an inline spark tester. Remove the spark plug wire, plug in the tester, and then connect the other end to the spark plug boot. Now that should light up, flash for us. Hopefully it'll be dark enough in here to see it. We'll zoom in on that and we'll pull the starter rope. Now let's pull the starter rope and see if the flash is there at all. Yeah, it does. Alright, so that's good. So it's getting spark. Now it's possible a spark plug could be bad. That rarely happens, but it's a possibility. So I got some new spark plugs, and as part of our maintenance I was going to replace it anyway. So let's just go ahead and do that next. Alright. Loosen. Alright. So I got a genuine Honda plug to match this one. This is probably the original one from when the machine was new, just guessing. It's got some carbon on there, and it's quite wet. So possibly, you know, all those pulls on the, all those attempts to start it, we got some fuel in there, but never ignited. So here's a new plug. It's the NGK BPR5ES. All right, there. Now, having done that, let's see if it wants to start now. All right, so we've verified that we are getting spark. We've installed a new spark plug. We're going to try to start it again, and I'm just peeking in here past the air filter. I can see that the choke plate is closed, as it should be on a cold engine. So all that's good. And we're inside, but we'll just see if it'll start and run briefly. So it did start, didn't stay running. That's very interesting. So we're making progress. Why did it not stay running? Let's try it again. Yeah, not running again. So, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think it might be time to take down the carburetor and peer in there and make sure everything is happy inside there, but that'll be our next step. You know, before I rip into the carburetor, I was just thinking maybe I want to verify that the choke plate actually opens. It's closed now as it should, but it's sort of like it started but then choked itself out, and I'm wondering if that choke plate is not opening. I don't know. So I took down the air cleaner. This needs to be replaced desperately, so we'll be doing that. But I want to try to start it up again and see if I want to see if that choke plate opens at all. Let me just push it with a screwdriver. Okay, it seems to move easily enough. All right, so let's see what we get here. Yeah. Let's just use a little bit of engine starting fluid. Just a bit. See if it'll run on that. All right, I think I did see the choke plate opening. I don't know if you could see it. And then it died out and of course closed again because it hasn't warmed up enough to keep it open. So I think, yes, I need to dig into that carburetor. We're just not getting the right fuel flow, I don't think. Maybe there's sediment in the bowl. It's getting sucked up. Maybe something like that, but I think that's what we need to do. Okay, so let's turn off the fuel valve. And it should be 10 millimeters. Indeed. Now when these two bolts come out, it's all gonna kind of fall down, so we'll have a lot of parts to juggle with. But we'll be able to deal with that okay. they're out, maybe I'll hold the carburetor up from behind, and this air cleaner comes off. Still connected in the back with the breather hose. You can see it all kind of falls here. And when we go to put that all back on, it's a bit of a trick, but I'll show you a good way to do it. Save ourselves a lot of headache. All right, so here's our automatic choke gizmo. Fuel line, breather tube, and throttle cable. It's really all we're dealing with here. Wire, spring, throttle cable, and then Honda uses these clips. Let me grab a pair of needle nose pliers to get that off. Let's try these guys. There we go. Oh boy. Oh. He doesn't want to come off. Intake gasket. There we go. All right, and this gasket across the back. So we got our choke mechanism, gasket, carburetor, gasket, air cleaner, and then the two bolts. So hanging it all back up is a acrobatic feat, but we'll be okay. So let's take this over to the workbench, clean it up a little bit, and open it up. See how it looks in there. Alright, I apologize if carburetor work is not your thing, but it's often very necessary, and often one of the biggest culprits in an engine that's not cooperating. So I just want to start by opening up the bowl here and letting what's in there drain into this pan, little dish. So there's the fuel that was in the carburetor, and I just see some crud in there, but that may just be dust that's falling off of the carburetor. So there's the bowl. And honestly, it really doesn't look too bad. A little bit of crud down in there. And yeah. So I'm asking myself about the fuel that's in this mower, how long it's been in there. And if we shouldn't just drain it and work with some clean fuel. Well, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to pull the jet out of there and make sure that's clean. Alright, let's pull the hinge pin for the float. Take that out. Take the float out. The needle comes with it. Move him out of the way. Here's our jet. I've loosened it, but he still doesn't want to drop out. There he is. And then there should be the emulsion tube who comes next. Alright, so I'm going to clean these out. I've done this on other videos you can watch. These Honda carburetors are all very similar. Clean out these tiny passages. I'm going to clean out the clean off of the carburetor itself. There's another jet right down in here. We can take that off. So let me spend a little time cleaning this stuff, and then we'll reassemble. I think we're all clean and ready to reassemble. So emulsion tube, main jet, till it stops, And then just a little bit tight. Don't have to go nuts with that. All right, let's do our float with the needle. He fell off the float. Let's try that again. And pin. All right, then look and make sure it's sitting level. Okay. Bowl nut with the gasket. 10 millimeters. Like so. The screw goes up top on our low speed jet. And then we screw back in our idle speed stop. And we had like 2 threads sticking out on the other side, so I just eyed it up like that. Alright. That's it, right? It's all back together. Okay. Okay, I think we're all ready to put this carburetor back on, and I'm going to talk you through that. Hopefully it'll make sense. It can be a little bit of a headache because the way they've got this designed is, you know, once this, you have to get everything onto these bolts, but once you can't access, you know, this air cleaner is just in the way. So we're going to try something a little bit different. I hope that you'll be able to see this. And basically it means we're going to use temporarily a couple of these threaded rods that are M6 metric size, which is the same as the 2 bolts that hold it all in place. Let me see if we can do this. And I'm going to start by, basically you've got a lot of stuff. There's already a gasket up there, and he didn't come down, so we're going to leave him there. Then we got the automatic choke mechanism, which was pretty stiff before, and it's doing a little better. So that goes next. Then you've got, hang with me, you'll see why it's complicated, a gasket. Then you've got the carburetor. Then you've got another gasket. Then you've got the air cleaner box. Then you've got the 2 bolts. It's crazy. And of course you also have to connect your breather tube, your fuel line, and your throttle linkages. So all that can be challenging. So let's try it this way. First, what I want to do is I want to connect my throttle cable, the little wire, do that first. I'm also going to connect my fuel line. I drained the old fuel, by the way, and added clean. We got a new clamp, so he's good. All right, so now I'm going to push the threaded rods through just so they're there. All right, now our choke mechanism, and then this gasket. So I'm going to put the gasket on the threaded rod. I'm going to put the choke mechanism on the threaded rod. And at this point, I think I can push this up into place and start threading the rod in just a little bit. Maybe. My wire came off. Alright, I'm going to back up, get this wire in there. Alright, threaded rod, choke mechanism. Okay, that one started. That one started. Alright, so it's there. Now I can take my hands off and everything's still okay and in place. Alright, now I can slide this gasket on. I'll make sure I get it correct. It's going to be like that. Now I can slide this guy up. And I can connect my breather tube in the back. Which you can't see now, but it's okay. Trust me, it's there. And so now everything's in place, and I can hold it in, put some pressure against there just to hold it all in place. Remove the one threaded rod, and insert the bolt. Alright, now I can do the same thing, just using a slight pressure against the air cleaner to hold it all in place. Remove the threaded rod, insert the bolt, and now we can tighten these down. And that's a lot more doable than trying to wrestle with everything. So I used to use these threaded rods in place of these screws, and I'd just get some nuts and tighten them down, you know, cut them at the right length. But now I just use them temporarily, and I can use them over and over again. And I'm sure Honda does it that way in the factory originally, but it took me a long time to learn that little trick. So we're all up, we're good, we're tight. Choke plate moves, throttle moves, everything's doing like what it should. I'm going to open up the fuel valve and let it fill up the bowl and make sure we're not leaking fuel. Our needle and seat is hopefully good, holding. I told you I've got new clean fuel in there, ethanol free, because that's the only kind I use now since I can get it where I live. Which is the best thing to do for your small engine equipment, even though it costs just a little bit more. And yeah, I got a new air filter. I'm going to start it up without that. I want to be able to visually observe the operation of the choke. But yeah, I think we can see if this wants to start for us now. Okay. Let's give it a go. So that's pretty good. Definitely an improvement over what we had. It started on our first pull, which is always nice. And I am able to verify now that it's warmed up. The choke plate is wide open. So everything seems to be working pretty good. I wouldn't say it sounds perfect, but it sounds reasonably decent. So I got a new air filter. We're going to put that on. These are an aftermarket company called HIPA, H-I-P-A. Bought these on Amazon. I think it was a 3-pack for $6 or $7. And my experiences with HIPA products have been pretty good. And that's a way to save a little money. And I think it's still a reasonably good air cleaner. Let's see here. So that's on. Let's make sure it's going to restart for us. I think we're going to wrap it up there, lest this video drag on forever and ever. We got it running, and that was our main objective. Hopefully it was of help to you, and that some of the things that I did and the process that I followed were useful for you as you work on your own stuff as well. So the Husky's back in business, Husqvarna, and with the Honda engine, and I want to thank you for watching the video. Please give me your comments, suggestions, criticisms in the comments below. I always enjoy hearing from you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. I'll look forward to seeing you all on our next video. So it's Buck Weitzer signing off saying, remember, only you can put the do into do it yourself.